G'day guys, how are you going? Now today we are reviewing the Kia Picanto GT, which is the best-selling microcar here in Australia. And it is one of the cheapest brand spanking new cars you can buy. However, it may be cheap, but it does have a few omissions. So make sure you watch through to the end of this video to make sure if the Kia Picanto GT is right for you. Now, as always, we're gonna start by taking a look at the exterior of the Kia Picanto. Then we're gonna come into the interior and see how it drives. And finally, we're gonna end on, is it worth picking up? Make sure as well, if you do enjoy the video, go down there right now and hit the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out. Comment down below as well, because I would love to interact with you guys. Share the review if someone you know wants to buy a Kia Picanto GT. And if you are new, subscribe so you can see cool car reviews every single week. Enough chit chat, let's just get straight into it. First gear, let's see if we can beat this Audi. Come on. 70 kilometers an hour. I love this thing. Okay, let's start with the exterior and more specifically the front, which I absolutely love. It's really hard to make a micro car look good, but Kia have done just that. Yes, it's got a small squashed face, but really, compared to its competitors, I think it is the best looking microcar on the market right now, except for maybe the Abarth. That is getting old. Anyway, the reason I like it so much is that there's just so much going on with it. $60 kilometers an hour. Anyway, there's so much going on with the front, and the fact that they have fit so much onto the front of what is a tiny canvas is pretty incredible. First, let's start with my favorite thing, and that is the headlights. They look absolutely gorgeous. Even though they aren't LED headlights, the fact that they have halogen projector headlights, meaning that they're in a really nice housing that makes them disperse light better, means that I don't really care that they're not LED. They look great and they function really well. The daytime running lights, they look pretty decent. I do overall like the look of them, nothing too special there. And then you also get the halogen projector bulbs for the fog lights as well, which just means that there's a lot of lights on the front. It's a well-lit car and it's functional as well. As I said, those projector lights are really good. Not as good as LED projectors, but not too far behind. Then there is the double split grille, which is unique to the GT and the GT line, and it's part of the GT body kit. It means that the front of the car is like one giant open grille, although a lot of it is actually just closed off plastic that is made to look like grille. But still, it gives it a sporty, masculine look. Big fan. It almost looks like a shark. I don't know if you can see it, but it really does almost look like a shark. You have the red highlights down the bottom, which are actual vents. And just overall, the front is a really sporty, cool, masculine look. I love it. The side is a little bit more boring. This is where you know it's a micro hatch because it's a boxy look, so you can fit more things on the interior. There is a bit more sporty red going down the bottom, so you know it's a true sports car. And I do really like the 16-inch upgraded wheels. They look really nice and help to give the car a fancy look. Certainly looks a lot more premium than its price tag would suggest. And you have chrome door handles. I would never mention that on any other car, but I suppose it's a nice to have rather than black plastic. The rear, again, is certainly not as cool as the front, but it's better than the side. I love the rear taillights. They look really nice, especially at nighttime. They're LED, and so they light up really nicely. Again, a little bit more red trim, but my absolute favorite, the piece de la resistance, my favorite piece, well, that has to be the dual exhaust tips down the bottom. And here is a short compilation, because this is a sporty car, of what they sound like. 60 kilometers an hour again. Overall, I love the way that the Kia Picanto GT looks. I think it looks really sporty, masculine, mean, and it is exactly what I would be looking for if I was wanting to buy a budget car, because I don't have to compromise on looks. It looks really nice. What do you guys think of the Kia Picanto GT? Is it a car that you like the look of, or not really? Let me know down in the comments right now. Now let's move on to the interior, and I want to start with the good. First of all, the design and function within the interior is absolutely incredible. And a lot of reviewers that I have watched reviewing this car seem to think that this is going to be some sort of luxury car. So let's keep in mind that this is definitely a budget car. Now, with that in mind, functional wise, it is absolutely fantastic. Kia designers have done an amazing job utilizing the space within the cabin. For example, you get hideaway cup holders that are really functional, and if you don't need them, you hide them away. You can use that area as a storage area. Let's give it a bit of pep here. Yes, come on. 80 kilometers an hour. I love it. It's so much fun. And we will get on to how it drives soon. But anyway, back to the interior. Not only do you get those functional cup holders, but there's other design touches. For example, this tiny center armrest. Do you know why it's great? It's because it's there. A lot of competitors will just not have that there. And even though it's tiny and there's not much storage space on the inside of it, at least I have a place to rest my arm. It is very soft plastic, so it's comfortable. Touches like that are really what make this interior special. Another thing I love is this infotainment screen. Why? Because again, it is functional. It just works. Hyundai Kia do an amazing job with the interior and the infotainment systems, and this is no different. This infotainment system, although it doesn't have digital radio and although it doesn't have inbuilt navigation, you still have very fast response times. You can use Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and you don't need navigation. It's only good if you're in an area where you don't have any reception or your phone's out of battery, but you can still charge it through the ports down here. It's got a 12-volt socket, it's got a USB and an auxiliary cable. Again, functional. Also, there are a total of 4 speakers and 2 tweeters in here, meaning that the sound system is surprisingly good. You know, you have a look at the Suzuki base model, which is around the same price as this car, and it only gets 2 speakers, and they sound awful. So this is really good. And then we have the steering wheel. And for all my longtime subscribers out there, you know how much I care about my steering wheel, and this steering wheel is really good. It is the same Kia steering wheel you will find on every other Kia, and that's a really good thing. It's got nice sporty red stitching on it. It's super functional. On the left we have all of our media controls, on the right we have our gauge cluster controls, and we have our cruise controls. It feels really nice in the hand. It is real leather, and it really just helps to give the interior a premium look that it doesn't deserve. Really good steering wheel. You also get alloy pedals, which are a nice touch and certainly not necessary in a car like this. And then there are these seats, which aren't the best seats in the world, but they're functional enough, they're comfortable enough. I haven't done really long journeys in it, so I can't give you my feedback on that. They don't have adjustable lumbar support, and they are manual control, but they're pretty good. Wouldn't expect automatic controls on a car like this. I do really like the red highlights and the red stitching. It just helps to give the car a sporty feel, and they are fake leather, so at least they look premium, and to a lot of people who don't know much about leather seats, it will fool them. Great touch, Kia. But of course, not everything is amazing inside of this interior. Let's get on to the bad. First and foremost is the quality of the materials. Now, as I said, we have to keep in mind that this is a very cheap car. As a result, there is hard plastics absolutely everywhere, but the places that matter do feel quality. For example, the door armrest, the center armrest, and the steering wheel and the shifting knob all feel really, really quality. But everywhere else, clearly cheap plastic. The air conditioning controls are probably the cheapest feeling part of the car. It is not uncommon in the micro segment to have completely analog controls, but that's exactly what these are, completely analog. I haven't seen these in a car since I drove my mate's 2003 Mitsubishi Mirage, so it's just old design, and it really does age the interior a little bit, but as I said, not unexpected for the class. What is a big letdown though are the gauges in the center. Speedometer and the tachometer are absolutely functional enough. It's that center screen where there isn't very much information on it at all, and it's just missing out on things like a central speed readout. Surely it can't be that hard to put a digital speed readout in the LCD panel, because otherwise it only really shows your range and your trip, and that's almost it. Big letdown there. I would love to have a digital speed readout, so it's a real shame you don't get it. Not the end of the world, but a shame. And then probably the worst part about this interior is just the overall ergonomics. Now, it's not horrible, but it's not great. There's no reach adjustment on the steering wheel, and as a result, I'm sitting too close to the pedals just so I can properly reach the steering wheel. And that's probably my biggest issue with the entire interior. It's just the fact that the steering wheel doesn't give me enough adjustment means that I can't really find what would be a truly comfortable position for me. And so I don't know how I would fare over longer journeys. I have my doubts. But again, it's not uncommon for this class, and it is worlds better than the Fiat Abarth, where you sit up and your head touches the roof. It's much better than that. Now, quickly talking about the rear seats as well, as you would expect, there isn't much room back there. Now, I'm 5'11", 179 centimeters tall, and when I'm sitting in my position, there is no way I would be able to sit behind myself. You will have to compromise if you have adults throughout the car and put the front seats forward. I do have plenty of headroom though, thanks to its boxy design. So children back there will be absolutely fine. If you are taking a lot of fully grown adults, you will A, have to compromise, or B, think about getting a bigger car, but it's a micro car. It's in the name. What isn't so micro though is the 255 liters of boot space. That's a lot. And even though most of it is vertical, you can still fit enough in the back, and that's really, really good. It's better than a lot of its competitors. What do you guys think? Is it practical or is it just me? Am I just really liking the fact that it's a fun little runabout car? I think it's pretty practical. But what we're all really here for is how the Kia Picanto drives. And for the most part, it's actually pretty fun. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into the Kia Picanto, I was a bit disappointed. Why was I disappointed? Well, I just had really, really high expectations. I think the Kia marketing got to me. You know, this is the Kia with the upgraded engine. It's an inline 3-cylinder, turbocharged, and it has 74 kilowatt of power and 172 newton meters of torque. Sure, power is low, but torque is high, especially for a car that is so small. But then you start driving it and you realize it's not as fast as you would hope, but it's still a lot of fun. It only weighs a ton, and so it just means you can throw it around and really rev it out. And you're not breaking the speed limit. That was to the speed limit. And it's fun. It makes a lot of noise. It's really engaging, manual only. Of course, it's front wheel drive as well. And it's really planted. You don't get any wheel spin. There's just not enough power going through the car. And you can have a lot of fun ducking in and out of traffic, being that hooligan without being that because you just can't go fast enough to do that, but you still have plenty of fun. It's a really, really engaging drive. And at first, even though I was a bit disappointed, after driving it for the week, I'm having so much fun in this car. Now, being the Picanto GT, it does have sport steering and sport suspension. So how does it handle? All right. To be honest, if I didn't read that on the spec list, I wouldn't have known that it has sports steering. It is kind of vague, but still okay. It's sporty enough, I suppose. It's all right. In terms of suspension, that is where I can feel it. It certainly is a firm ride, but as you saw then, going around a corner is perfectly adequate. There's not much body roll at all. It feels really planted, as I said. It's a really great job that Kia have done, especially in the tuning of the local suspension. Got to give it some more beans and... You know, ringing it through the red line is just so much fun, and you don't break the law. A lot of reviewers who get cars, they'll say things like, well, it's fun because you can speed up a little bit and you don't break the law, and they're driving something like an Audi S3. Probably a bit of an exaggeration, but still, this, you can actually do that and have a lot of fun, and you don't break the law. Again, this is a cheap car. Do not expect supercar performance. The 0 to 60 miles per hour time is somewhere under 10 seconds. It's not a fast car, but it is a fun car. And also being the upgraded engine and being smaller than the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that you normally get in the Kia Picanto, it has good fuel economy, a rated 4.8 litres per 100 kilometers. That's not bad. Using this pretty awful gauge cluster, it's showing me is doing 7.8 litres per 100 kilometers. It's probably because I am ringing it and thrashing it around. Having so much fun doing it. So the real question is it worth it? The Kia Picanto starts from just over $19,000 drive away, and with this optional paint color, which I definitely recommend, it's beautiful, it sells for $19,731 drive away. Is it worth it? Hell yeah, it's worth it. You get so many inclusions as a car. It is a great runabout if you are going around town a lot. If you want a cheap car and you're doing a lot of kilometers, it's still great for that because of what it comes with. It is just amenity appointed. Yes, it's cheaper, but when you're out on a highway, this 5-speed gearbox isn't the worst in class. It's a lot better than the 4-speed automatic you get on the standard Kia Picanto and cars like, again, the Fiat 500. And it just works. I absolutely love this car. I've enjoyed every second with it, and it's cheap. And actually, I was considering this car as a car to purchase if I needed something just cheap and new. And the fact that you get a 7-year warranty is unbeatable. If you're that kind of person that just wants a car that will last, it's a bit of fun to drive around and just works, the Kia Picanto GT is for you. Just don't expect a sports car like I did. Also keep in mind that it only has a 4-star ANCAP safety rating, and even though it comes with autonomous emergency braking, which is great, if you're really safety conscious, there might be other cars out there that will suit your 5-star ANCAP safety needs. But in those tests, it still scores pretty damn well. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you go down there and hit the thumbs up button. Again, it really helps the channel out. Comment down below what you think of the Kia Picanto GT. Is it a car that you own? Is it a car that you want to own? Or is it a car that you're not convinced and you don't really like? Let me know down there right now. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I release an awesome new car review every single week so you can see when it's uploaded. And anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.